What we're going to do in this lesson is to go through one of the most important things and initially one of the most confusing things that we do in musicianship and orchestra. And that's to learn how to figure out key signatures for each of the major and minor scales. To make this a little bit easier, let me just tell you, since we only have 7 notes in the scale, we can only have up to 7 sharps. We can only have up to 7 flats. And there's one key that has no sharps or flats at all. So for all of the major scales, all of the minor scales, all of the modes, there are only 15 key signatures. 7 sharp key signatures, 7 flat key signatures, and C major, no sharps, no flats. So let's start with first the sequence of the flats. And we're going to start with that because it looks, the look on the page is the easiest thing to remember of the 2 sequences between flats and sharps. The first flat is the one letter that looks the most like a flat. So B flat is the first flat in the, when we write key signatures. It's always first. If you have more than one, B flat will always be first. And then E, and then A. I should mention we're going up in fourths, B, C, D, E, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, G, A, B, C, C, D, E, F. So that's the sequence of the flats, the way they always come in the key signature. There's also a very specific place to put them on the staff when you're writing them. When you're looking at them in printed music, they'll always come up this way. The B starts right on the middle line, and the E starts at the top space for treble clef. They're going to form 2 rows going down here, a row of 4 and a row of 3, and they just each one go down by step, and it'll give us this, B, A, G, F on one row, and E, D, C on the other. So we've got B, E, down to this row, down step, then to the upper row, E down to D, lower row, A down to G, upper row, D down to C, and the final one, G goes down to F. So there's a row of 4, a row of 3, they read cleanly left to right, and it has to be exactly this way on the staff. If you have an E flat down here, it's not a key signature, it's something else. It has to read exactly this way, and that's actually good news, because that makes it easier for you to remember this. Okay, and then for the sharp sequence, it's exactly opposite the flats, and so this goes up in fourths. This one, you can think up in fifths, and that's what we're talking about when you hear people talking about the circle of fourths and the circle of fifths. The sequence of the sharps then, if you think about capital and all the letters, that doesn't really look like a sharp, but it looks more like a sharp than any of the other letters. F, F, G, A, B, C is next. C, D, E, F, G. G, A, B, C, D. D, E, F, G, A. A, B, C, D, E. E, F, G, A, B. There's the sequence of the sharps. They also have a very prescribed way that they have to go on the page. We're drawing it in treble clef, but it shows up the same way in alto and in bass clef. F sharp is going to be always on the top line for key signatures, never any other way. C sharp is going to be always for key signatures on the third space. And where we have 2 rows going down for flats, we're also going to have 2 rows, but they're going up for sharps. And there's one little twist with the sharps with these 2 rows. So we've got F and then C. The next one is G. Then we go down to this row and go up 1. And we go back to the top row, and here's where the twist comes. The next one in this sequence is F, G, A. So logically, we put it up there. But somebody years and years and years ago said, nope. It's not going to happen up there. We're going to take the A and the B that finishes out that row and put them down an octave. So this A that should go here is going to be down here when you see it in the key signature. When we go back to this row, C, D, E is the next. and then our row of 4, F, G, A, B. So whenever you see any sharp key signatures, if it's 7 sharps, it'll look like that. If it's 6, it'll be 1 less, and 5, and 4, and 3. They always come in this sequence. They always read left to right. It's always exactly in this place on the staff, with the exception of tenor clef and soprano clef. But in treble and alto and bass, this is where they go. The next thing we need to figure out is how do we connect key names with these key signatures. There are a whole bunch of ways to do that. Probably one of the most common for the flats is to just realize that the name of the key is the next to last flat. So if I have 7 flats, the scale that uses this key signature starts on the 6th flat, which would be C flat. Another way that in our chorus program here that gets used quite a bit is for all of the flat key signatures, the last flat of the signature is the 4th note of that scale. So if I say to you, what's the key signature for C flat major? You go C, D, E, F. F is the last flat for that sequence. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So the key of C flat is going to have 7 flats. That works for all of them. For the sharp sequence, the last sharp is always the 7th note of the scale. So if I ask you for the key signature for A major, A is the name of the key. Down 1 note in the scale would be G sharp. So the key of A will have only F, C, and G sharps. That works for all 7 of those scales. Another interesting thing, the way it works out with the placement of half steps for major and minor scales, if you start and put the half step between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8, you get a major scale, no matter where you start. If you go down 2 notes and start on the minor, you get the half step then between 2, 3 and 5, 6, which gives you the minor scale. So C major and A minor share the same key signature. If you go C to C, you get half step 3, 4, 7, 8, you get a major scale. If you go A to A with no sharps or flats, you get a half step between 2, 3 and 5, 6, which sounds like a minor scale. And that works every time for every one of the 15 keys. So next what we're going to do is go through all 7 sharp keys. If you have 1 sharp, it's going to be F sharp, and the name of the key is going to be G. So the key with 1 sharp is G major. If you have 2 sharps, the 2 sharps will be F and C. The last sharp is C sharp. The name of the key is D. If you have 3 sharps, you have F, C, and G. The last sharp is G sharp, so the name of the key is A. 4 sharps, F, C, G, D. D is the last sharp. Up 1 is E. If you have 5 sharps, F, C, G, D, A. Up 1 from A sharp is B. So B has 5 sharps. If you have 6 sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E. E sharp, remember, is the same note, enharmonic to F. So up a half step from E sharp is going to be F sharp. You also know it's going to be F sharp because as you look back in this signature, the F is sharp. So when you're playing with E sharp as the last sharp, F will also be sharp. For 7 sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B, B sharp is the last sharp, and you know that B sharp and C are the same note. So if we go up a half step, we get to the key of to the note C sharp. And of course, a half step higher than some kind of B is some kind of C. So as we look over here in the key signature, we see that it has to be C sharp for the scale. Same deal with the flats. If we have 1 flat, B flat, A, G, F. F is the name of the key. If E flat is our last flat, that's the fourth note of the scale, so E, D, C, B flat. And now we get in where we can go either way. Now that we've got more than one flat, the name of the key is going to be the next to last flat. So for 3 flats, it's going to be the key of E flat. 4 flats is going to be the key of A flat. 5 flats is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be the key of D flat. 6 flats is going to be the key of G flat, next to last flat, and 7 flats is going to be the key of C flat. And I wrote all these out. These are the key names here. If you're asked to find the key signature for the key of A, you go, well, is it sharps or flats? Well, 6 of the 7 flat keys have a flat in the name of the key. If you remember that C has no sharps or flats, F has 1 flat, then and all the rest of the flat keys have a flat in the name of the key, then if you're asked for the key of A flat, obviously it's going to be flats in the key signature. Key of A flat, A, B, C, D will be the last flat, so you've got 4 flats. If you're asked for the key of E, E doesn't have a flat in the name of the key, so it's a sharp key. E is the name of the key. Your last sharp will be D sharp, F, C, G, D. So the key of E has 4 sharps in it. It's really common as you're going through trying to learn all of this to get mixed up on some of the steps. That's why we first give you a study guide, and we make this video available to you. We also do a lot of different training in class. You've got a study guide, you've got a worksheet to do, you've got a quiz on key signatures, and then when you start working later in the year on your intervals, we work on learning, connecting this key signature knowledge to the intervals, and then at the end of the year, figuring out all your chords starting with key signature knowledge. It's incredibly important to get good at this. And once you are, it's very, very helpful. That's it for this film.